Harvesting our hazelnuts. I've had them out for 2 days drying in the husks, because when the husks are green, the green part is sticky, so you want to dry up the husk a little bit, but once you open them up, the nuts fall right out. If you plant one hazelnut, you'll want more. So we're going to take a few of these nuts and put them right on top of some dirt and throw some leaves on top of them for this winter. Leave them out, let the weather get to them, so by spring these nuts will split and there'll be a root come out of them, and we'll have some more hazelnut bushes to plant. Once you, there it goes, got it. Once you plant these, there's no tending to the bush. They pretty much take care of themselves. If you've ever had the Nutella, that's what it's made out of, is hazelnuts. And you've probably had some of these hazelnuts if you've got the winter nut assortment at the store. They have walnuts and hazelnuts and almonds and Brazil nuts, things like that. That's what these are, just a hazelnut. And these bushes take care of themselves. All you do is just split them open. Now these were green, these husks were green, and what happens with when you pick them, the green part is still a little sticky, so you want to dry them out a couple days before you husk them. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to husk these and spread them out on the table and let them dry a couple of more days in just the open shells. You might be worried, if you in your area, if you've got squirrels, you'll want to put a kind of a screen cover over them so the squirrels can't get to them. We've got too many cats to worry about the squirrels. But once they've dried a couple of days, they pretty much come right out of the shell very easily. See, they're not stuck in there, they just set down in the bottom. Some of them are a little drier than others, and they're easier to
And
husk.
what are you going to do with the husk when you're done with that?
Well, I separate the nut from the husk. The husk I'm going to give to the rabbits. And if they don't eat them, then the lawnmower will mulch them into the lawn. So I mean, they're not, you have to watch about September, because that's about the time they start falling off the tree. You don't want them to fall off the bush. You want to be able to pick them off the bush and dry them out. Once they start falling off the bush, they're ready to harvest. You can see the ones that are a little drier just pop right open. And the ones that are a little greener, you have to kind of pull them apart, but they still come out easy. And they come 2 and 3 at a cluster. I've got some that are 3 clusters here. There's one that's 3. They'll come as many as 3 to 5 to a cluster. And that one bush had most of these nuts on it. The bigger nuts were on the other bush, and some of these smaller ones, clusters, were where the bush had the most. Now next year, these hazelnut bushes will get 12 feet high, and they'll spread out maybe 8 to 10 feet wide. So wherever you plant these, you want to make sure you plant the bushes about 12 feet apart. They're not pollinated by insects. These are wind pollinated, meaning that they'll have little catkins on the bushes. And catkins are like, they look like little mouse tails hanging off the bush. Leave them on there, because that's where they get pollinated. And wherever they get pollinated, you'll have a cluster of nuts. So just because you see them little things dangling off the bush, don't think that they're something odd that needs to be picked off. You want to leave them on there. The bees won't come anywhere near these nut trees because there's nothing to attract the bees. Because the wind does all the work on these. So you just let nature do its course. You plant them and forget them. You just want to check on them now and then to make sure that the branches aren't getting broken and things like that. But you'll have a nice harvest someday. And if you're a younger generation, you might want to put a few of these in on your farm or backyard or whatever you got. And they don't take any space up on the lawn, only just have to mow around them. But the nice thing about the hazelnuts is in the spring, you can watch the leaves come out and the little catkins on there. And in the fall, these leaves on that bush will turn bright red. That'll be a very ornamental bush for your yard. So if you like hazelnuts, I would plant some. Now I don't know if you got some out of the store, being the hazelnuts from the bag goods. They would probably work, but you need to, if you went to a nursery book and ordered some hazelnuts, they would tell you what zone. These were rated for zone 5, which is that's where we're at. And it will tell you the variety, whether they're English or the American hazelnut. So you might want to buy them through the magazine, but I don't see why you couldn't get some out of the store. They're a pretty hardy bush. I can't see how it would hurt. I might even do that myself just to try it out here. Get a bag of the nuts at the store, and they'll have larger hazelnuts than these, and try my luck on growing some of them. As long as they're planted within 8 to 12 feet of each other, the wind will pollinate them, and you will get the harvest that you're looking for. Might take a couple of years, but if you're young enough, you got time. If you're like I am, I'm 62. If I plant some this next year, I still can get hazelnuts by the time I'm 65. So, and these things will produce nuts for about 50 years. Even if you're 40, I think I planted these, yeah, it was like 4 years ago. And I'm happy with it. I'll be happier with it if I got a bigger harvest next year. Okay, hopefully you will plant some hazelnuts and enjoy them. It's Clay from Pople Backyard Farm.